Are pretty small, pretty limited with where the hole locations will be. So you hit it into the middle of the greens here, you're going to have decent chances. So I'm feeling pretty good about that part of the game. And then short game's been there as well. I mean, I focused a lot on iron play and chipping and putting last week in practice because I knew that was basically that's sort of going to be the key to having a good week this week. So I feel good about it all, and I'm certainly in a better place with my game than where I was this time last year going into Kiowa. So happy about that.
Microphone 5. Rory, we saw the emotion at the Ryder Cup. I'm just curious how big of a motivation that was for you over the off season and maybe at the start of this year as well.
Yeah, it was a big turning point. I had an awful week at the Ryder, an awful couple of days anyway. And then I sort of freed my mind up and played better in the singles and got that win against Xander, and that sort of gave me a little bit of confidence. And then I built on that and got the win in Vegas in the fall. And then I've played pretty consistently, good golf since then. So it was a big turning point for me. I went down a path that I thought was going to help and make some improvements, and it didn't quite work out that way. So just went back to basics and went back to trying to figure out what I did well and just keep doing that. And it's been good. I've played pretty consistent golf since then. I think I dropped out of the top 10 at some point during the that period, and then I've got myself back up there and sort of working my way back up. So it's been a good few months.
And then real quick, I just wanted to piggyback off his question about the iron game and strokes gained approach. What specific things have you been working on technically with your irons?
Flighting it down a little bit, getting comfortable taking a club more and hitting it easy. Left pins is something that hasn't been a strong suit of mine this year. That sort of showed up in the stats, so trying to practice a little more to left pin positions and trying to get comfortable with shots I'm trying to hit in. And that's really it. Sort of, you just hit a ton of balls and you sort of figure it out.
Microphone 12, please. Rory, it's a little while since you made your sort of dead in the water comment about the Saudi series. Do you think that's still the case, or do you think it's gathering momentum?
Yeah, I might have been a little presumptuous at that point. It seems like it's still going, and you know, Greg and everyone behind it are very determined. And I think we're just going to have to see how it plays out. You know, guys are going to make decisions, and honestly, it's going to shape the future of professional golf one way or another. So I think we're just going to have to see how it all shakes out.
Microphone 8, please.
Hi, Rory. I'm curious, during a week when the temperature is just like really hot, probably losing a bit more weight than usual, do you do anything different to get your body in preparation for a week like this? And if so, what?
Yeah, I've tried to, I got a little light after Augusta. Like, I always lose a bit of weight there, but I've tried to put on some weight since then. Probably put on like 10 pounds since the Masters. Not all muscle, there's probably a little bit of excess fat in there somewhere too. It hasn't been quite as disciplined as I've wanted it to be, but it's decent that, you know, when you have, and I have a long stretch, I'm playing 5 in the next 6 weeks, so, you know, it's, you know, to have a little bit in reserve and sort of that extra energy stores and stuff is never a bad thing. I always notice when I do put a bit of weight on, my speed goes up, so that's something that I guess is an added benefit.
And how much weight do you usually like use during a week like this? Do you keep track or?
Not really. I usually have to go up one notch in the belt at the end of the week, but yeah, I mean, it's maybe 5 pounds.
Over here on mic 4, please.
Well, you mentioned watching the Friday video, the digest flyover. This is kind of a geeky process question, but like, what happens then? Do you call Harry and talk through it? Do you call Michael and say, what are we going to work? This is what we're going to work on.
Yeah, I sent the links to Harry and just like, here, just have a look at these. Yeah, I mean, it's just trying to get a feel for, you know, I was maybe going to come up here last week and I had a couple things going on, so I couldn't make it. So I just wanted to try to get some info, you know, before coming up here, just so I had a little idea what was going on. And actually, I was saying to someone yesterday, the flyovers course looked much tighter than when you get out here. There's actually, I feel like it sort of opens up for you off the tee a little bit, and I didn't expect to hit as many drivers as I actually did yesterday.
In the back on 13, please.
Hi, Rory. Is not having come here before yesterday and not having seen the course, is it an example of just trying to not overthink this stuff?
I think so. You know, I've won a couple of major championships where I've played 9 holes on Tuesday, 9 holes on Wednesday, and sort of teed it up and played really well. Sometimes not knowing where the trouble is ignorance is bliss in some ways, and I'll take execution over preparation any day. You know, if you're executing the shots and you're hitting the ball well, and you know, the ball's looking where you're going, that's more than half the battle. So, and I feel like I'm executing well, but it doesn't mean you're not preparing or looking at things. I think these greens require a little more time spent on them than some others. So, but I think strategy off the tee and into the greens is pretty simple, and then it gets a little more nuanced whenever you get on and around the greens.
Over here in 12, please.
Rory, keeping on that note, you say ignorance can be bliss. What are some of those elements that you might not really be able to identify until you're out there Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to practice from every bunker around the greens. You're not going to chip balls from every single side of a green. But you have a decent idea of. You just, for the most part, can't miss the ball above the hole here because the greens are slopey and there's quite a pitch from back to front on a lot of them. So even just stuff like that, not getting past pin high on some holes, and you have a general idea of where the good miss is or where to leave it. But you're going to encounter some stuff during the 4 days of play that you haven't prepared for. You know, hitting it. Missing at one side of a green instead of another, or just, you know, things happen. We're human. We're not going to hit every shot perfectly. So, but that's the great thing about our game. You have to adapt to these things and adapt to conditions. I mean, even look like the wind forecast this week. We're going to have nearly 4 different winds for 4 days. You know, so just stuff like that. You're not going to be able to play the golf course in every single wind direction. So you're just sometimes going to have to adapt on the fly.
Welcome to Oklahoma.
Thank you.
Microphone Rory, please.
Yeah, Rory, you mentioned, we're going to see kind of how this all plays out and reshapes professional golf. Is there a good, clean resolution at this point? Is there something that you're rooting for?
Honestly, I'm rooting for it all to be over. I'm just so sick of talking about it, and like I've made my decision, and I know where I want to play, and I'm not standing in anyone's way, and I'm not saying that they shouldn't go over there and play. If that's what they feel is right for them, then 100% they should go and do it. I'm certainly not wanting to stand in anyone's way, but I think that the sooner it all happens and the sooner everything shakes out, then I think we can all just go back to not talking about it and doing what we want to do.
Two more questions, please, on mic 6.
Rory, we saw you out with Brad Faxon yesterday. What were you working on with Brad?
Not much. He's up here doing some stuff for Golf Channel and for Sky, and he just walked a few holes. I mean, we didn't really talk about much. He watched me hit a couple of putts and sort of give me the okay on the stroke, and that was really it. It wasn't too much.
Mic 5.
Rory, with the course having so much changes since the tour last came here, is there any asking any of the more veteran players who played here before about any advice, or is it pretty much a clean slate just because of all those changes?
I think it's a clean slate. It's actually I was hitting balls beside Tom Gillis at the Bears Club over the weekend, and he played the senior PGA here last year. So he gave me a couple little things to look, a couple of greens to spend extra time on, stuff like that. But yeah, I think it's 07 was a completely different golf course that you really just want to talk to the guys that played last year here in the senior PGA to get a better feel of how the golf course plays.
Final question on 9.
Sorry, regret might be too strong a word, but I was just wondering, do you ever wish you weren't involved in the Player Advisory Council? You actually knew a little bit less and could just get on with your own career, make your own decisions?
In fairness, the pack is fine because it's a very high overview of what's going on, and there's 4 or 5 meetings a year. Being on the board is different, and there's maybe a few more calls that I've been on that I would have expected to be on whenever I took the role up. But yeah, again, that ignorance is bliss. It's nice to be in the know, but at the same time, sometimes it's nice not to know. So, but it's like I'm trying to do the right thing for the PGA Tour and the PGA Tour members because that's what I was elected to do. So I'm trying to do that to the best of my ability. But there's people on that board that are a lot smarter than I am that are going to make the ultimate decision.
Welcome to Tulsa.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rory.
Always a refreshing listen, Rory Mcilroy with the media, kind of casual, no hat, no golf shirt just yet, probably just slowly beginning his day. An interesting page to listen to, his preparation this week. He hasn't played here before. He wasn't able to get up here last week. He's got a young family now, a couple of things going on at home likely, and wasn't able to make that scouting trip. Thank goodness for YouTube, right? And the facilities that perhaps weren't available to the field when they were here in 2007. Do you think it makes a difference for a player of Rory Mcilroy's caliber as to how many times they play this golf course before competition?
I don't. Because I think specifically with Rory, it is about mental preparation leading into it. And I got a kick out of one of the questions saying, did you not overthink it? Is that part of why you didn't come? And he goes, well, I think so. Meaning still uncertain as to what's the best way to prepare. I do think he's trying to downplay it. I don't envy Rory Mcilroy in the days leading into a major championship because he's constantly asked about his first round and how he's failed to get off to a quick start. And so I think in a lot of ways it's easier to just continue to be as casual as possible and trying to treat it like any other event.
I kind of, not enjoyed is the wrong word, but I kind of found it fascinating to listening to the weight fluctuations that he had, right? Because here he is saying he's put on 10 pounds, some of it's fat, but he's happy about it because he's playing 5 out of the next 6 weeks and he tends to lose about 5 pounds every tournament week and go up a belt buckle. I mean, is this something that most PGA Tour professionals deal with, do you think, when you're playing? And hot and challenging
You
conditions?
can have some of mine. That's fine. I got a little to spare, but yeah, it's Tiger will lose 5 to 7 pounds this week. I mean, players just deal sort of intermittently. Everybody's metabolism's a little bit different, but just the different sorts of preparations, it kind of gives you some insights, just kind of different things that players kind of are thinking about as they head into certain stretches or certain events. One of the things that Rory does need to be thinking about is getting off to a good start. Since 2015, he's 35 over par in his opening rounds in major championships. But when he does get off to a good start, in that same period of time, only one player has had more top tens in that same window of time, and that's Brooks Koepka. So when Rory can get out of the gates, not stellar, but just solid, he's a factor. When he doesn't, he has to play from behind, and he can play from behind, as he proved at Augusta National in that final round 64, sort of not really being in contention, but it looks good on paper. Didn't really factor in the event, but coming in here and with the preparation and sort of a little bit more modest side players, I think, are going to be a benefit to him.
It was interesting because last year at Kiel Island, of course, there was a lot of conversation around Rory Mcilroy, given that he'd won the PGA Championship there in 2012, but he just admitted that he feels better about his game coming into this week than he did 12 months ago. Plenty of others expected inside the press building later today. Jordan Spieth has just arrived on property, checking some things on his phone perhaps before getting to work, just behind his manager Jay Dansey right there. We discussed earlier in the show how he has kind of recovered his game from the tee. He has found an effective pre-shot routine that exaggerates the move that he wants to make at the top of his swing, so look out for that this week.
The lower your drag coefficient, the more efficient you become. Such amazingly perfect shapes run throughout the natural world and can now be found in the automotive one. The world's most aerodynamic production vehicle, the EQS sedan.
Favorite ball this Father's Day from golf's top brands. Add his name or photo, choose a unique monogram design, or improve his game with a custom alignment aid. Call or order online at golfballs.com, the world leader in golf customization.
For just a little bit more, I can get you unlimited minutes, data, and text, 6 hotspots, concert coupons, cable subscription, dental cleanings.
We need all that?
Do we need all that?
I wouldn't think so. You should use Consumer Cellular. You have everything you need, nothing you don't.
I'll throw in this tiny little fan. Car wash voucher. Ha! Light up soap dispenser.
Think you lost? Get the exact same coverage as the nation's leading carriers. All the talk, text, and data you need, starting at $20. Consumer Cellular.
Behind every elite golfer like Louis Oosthuizen is a great caddy, and a nutritionist, and a management team, and a sports psychologist, a trainer, and a personal assistant. Your business's success depends on who you hire. That's why ZipRecruiter uses smart technology.
What do you think?
Great hire.
To help you hire the right people for all your roles.
Good shot.
Tee up your team for greatness. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/golf.
Thanks, Dan.
When safe drivers say for not answering their phone while driving, they feel like a big deal.
Did you get the ice?
Even if they forgot the ice. Save up to 30% on auto insurance with USAA Safe Pilot. Get a quote today.
My moderate to severe plaque psoriasis, the burning, itching, the pain. Emerge Tremfiant. With Tremfya, most people saw 90% clear skin at 16 weeks. The majority of people saw 90% clear skin even at 5 years.
Serious allergic reactions may occur. Tremfya may increase your risk of infections and lower your ability to fight them. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, or if you had a vaccine or plan to.
Emerge Tremfiant with Tremfya. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today.
Well, as Anders Hoffley said on Sunday, he likes to get acclimated to golf the week before a major. He did really well last week with a final round 61 on Sunday, saw him finish in a tie for 5th. What a bounce back it was from an opening 72 on Thursday. It was his first start since winning the Zurich Classic of New Orleans with his good friend Patrick Cantlay.
Call it a
crucible, where long-forged wisdom fuses with the burning drive of passion. Call it a new page waiting to be turned, or a new story waiting to become legend. Call it tough. Call it rare. Call it professional. Welcome to the PGA Championship.
It all started with a putter and over 60 years of game-changing innovation. It's time to remember the formula that made champions and experience the next chapter of ingenuity. Designed by pros and custom-made for you. Introducing Ping PLD.
Amazon has a fantastic parental leave. 20 weeks off, fully paid. Spending that extra time with them just meant so much to me. He's only going to be really little once.
Small towns across America have been left behind in wireless coverage.
We have a lot of issues with our cell service, calls dropping, and areas where we don't have internet.
Where I work is pretty rural, and I don't really get any phone service. You get what you get.
T-Mobile believes no town should be left behind. That's why we've been investing billions to bring our award-winning network to 99% of people in America. And now, families can save up to $900 a year versus AT&T. Switch to T-Mobile today.
To those who know, there's no better place to be. This is your sign. Book your tee time on Golf Now. Go play.
How do you prepare to be punched in the face? You just don't.
Hopefully you're still standing.
The U.S. Open on NBC, USA, and Peacock.
Here's to the golfers, to the Sunday morning hitting crews, the snowbirds, and the escapists. To those who know, there's no better place to be. Book your tee time on Golf Now. Go play.
Well, we are experiencing some light rain here at Southern Hills Country Club. Not expected to last too long. Should be clear by the top of the hour, with temperatures moving from the low 70s up into the mid 80s by the end of the day today. So pretty calm conditions as we keep an eye on some of the big names here this week, including, of course, the world number 2, that is Jon Rahm, who is now a major champion after he won his big title at the US Open at Torrey Pines last summer. Dramatic birdies and reactions on the 71st and 72nd holes of the championship to steal the victory. And he now is with the media.
Jon Rahm is joining us at the 104th PGA Championship. John, you are the reigning US Open champion and playing in your 6th PGA Championship. Didn't you find your way earlier up here to Southern Hills to get a round or two in, maybe a little sneak peek? And if so, does that familiarity give you an edge?
I was here Monday and Tuesday last week.
But that's soon, okay. Right.
Yeah, it wasn't super early because I wanted to come as close as possible so the course would be as close as possible in shape. Right, sometimes I make changes, they grow the rough, the speed of the greens, the firmness. Even though it's not the same, I wanted to just be as close as possible to it. Come to find out that they did something to the greens, I forgot what it was. So I believe they said the reset at the greens not too long ago, so it's a good thing I didn't come when that was done. And then Ryan Palmer showed me a video of him maybe 5 days before I was here, after a heavy rain, in the golf course he saw was completely different to the one I saw. Because I played on Tuesday, Monday I walked the course and it was already championship ready, so I was really impressed.
So your analysis, you like the golf course?
Yeah, it's a major championship worthy golf course. It's as simple as that. You can't hide, you have to do everything well. And there's no surprise that the winning scores here have been as high as they have in the past, and just a few people make it on their par. I mean, they can they can truly make it as difficult as they want to be, they want it to be, and they could also make it as easy as they want it to be, right? So they can really truly manipulate the score out here very, very easily, even if the conditions are, let's say benign and we don't get too much wind.
Question on mic number 5, please.
John, what do you enjoy about coming to a course that you haven't been to before, haven't played before in a competitive round? Is there something that stands out about that maybe you enjoy more?
I feel like I learn courses pretty quickly, and my game kind of adapts to any golf course, and that's why I feel like I've had success where I haven't played before, right? I really can't give you an answer. Maybe it's 4 years of college where you get 18 holes to learn as much as you can from the course. Or maybe it's the fact that a lot of times when you play, you don't know where half the trouble is. And sometimes that helps you just see where you wanted to hit it, and it's a great lesson in the mental aspect of things, right? Sometimes less is more. Doesn't usually apply to major championships though, so it's a bit different. But yeah, I think I think the main thing is I learn courses decently fast in my game. The way I play golf, it adapts to pretty much anything.
Mic 5.
Was Mexico the confidence builder you needed headed into this week?
I mean, I don't know if I needed more confidence, but it was definitely a win is a win. Obviously, it was a good one, right? Hadn't had my best year so far. I had a couple of really good finishes, but since Torrey, I wasn't really relevant on the leaderboard, so it was nice to be out there and get the win.
You drove it really well in Mexico as well. How important will that be at Southern Hills this week?
It's very important, but if you're in the rough, you might not be able to be aggressive towards the pins, but for the most part, you will have a chance to roll it out there most of the holes, right? If you miss the fairway on 18, it's going to be tough, but a lot of other ones, like 1 and 2 and 3 and a couple others, you will have a chance to put it out there, maybe give yourself a chance. But yeah, you have to hit a lot of fairways out here. Like I said earlier, everything needs to be good. Your iron game needs to be good, short game, driving, putting, everything. Otherwise, something really will have to excel for something else to be lacking.
Mic 4.
Besides coming here for 2 days, how did you spend the other time you had after Mexico?
Family time, practicing, and I went to the F1 race in Miami. So, good.
And secondly, last year was the best ball striking you've had in your career, and you're actually even better this year. How did you take your game and your ball striking in particular to the next level?
Stats, I can tell you it didn't feel better so far. I think my iron game felt better last year. Statistically, in the sense of what, I'm hitting more greens maybe. Yeah, driving is better. I haven't changed anything personally. I think that's more so the driver than me. Last year's driver was great. This one's even better. It feels just as good, and I believe it's a little bit more forgiving. That's why I believe my ball speed has been up a little bit. I think the game changer is the shoes I'm using this year. They're different to last year. Not these. These are street shoes. They're a lot more comfortable. Done some great work with the Equator and the Travis Matthews, and I think it's allowed me to be a little bit more stable and not my ball speed and my swing speed without being concerned. And I think I can keep that speed up first tee shot on Thursday to the last one on Sunday a little bit more consistently, right? But I haven't really proactively changed anything.
Has that always kind of been an overlooked aspect of the footwear that players use?
I got a really messed up foot, so I haven't. I really take it seriously, and last year I played something I thought I could play in, which obviously I did, but it wasn't the best shoe for me. I shouldn't be wearing flat shoes like that because I ended up with some pain. But while we were working on something that was comfortable for me, it was a good solution for a couple of months. I think it's overlooked what a lot of players do behind the doors. For any athlete, the only point of contact we have with the ground is our feet. So I think that should be the single most important thing.
In the back row on 10, please.
Hey, John. So much talk about Phil not being here, Tiger getting stronger. Do you prefer the focus elsewhere coming into a major championship?
Yeah, of course. Give it to them. we're all happy that Tiger's here. Obviously, we're extremely happy. You know, who would have said over a year ago that he would be competing in major championships again? And I was lucky enough to enjoy that Sunday round at Augusta with him, and you know, talk to him a little bit firsthand about what he was going through and what he's gone through. And you know, he's a Tiger, he's a competitor, and he's gonna try to win every single time. And anytime he tees up, the world wants him to win. So yeah, it's only expected for the attention to be on him. But I mean, it doesn't really change anything what I'm gonna be doing this week.
Are we on 12, please?
Hey John, thanks for talking. Appreciate it. Are you unhappy that Phil is not here?
Phil's got to do what Phil's got to do. He's a good friend of mine. I can't remember last time a major champion didn't defend the title, but he's got to do what's best for him. That's all I can say. I can't say it makes me unhappy. As long as he's doing what was best for him, I can't truly say I'm unhappy. I would like to see him defend. I know he's played good here in the past, but again, he's got to do what he's got to do.
In the back row on 11.
John, you're the latest in a long line of very successful Spanish athletes performing on the world stage. The next one might be Carlos Alcaraz. I wonder if you've seen him play and what do you think of him?
Carlos who?
Alcaraz, tennis player.
Sorry, the accent. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about a golfer. I was just confused. I'm like, okay. I have not seen him play. I've heard about what he's done. I've seen the results. Pretty impressive, especially in the world of tennis. I mean, he's got some big shoes to fill. Because historically, Spain has had great tennis players, and obviously, with Rahm out there, you know, it can be probably daunting, yet really exciting for somebody like him, right? I mean, you have a great referee who's done it, not too long ago, right in front of you. So you know, I'm sure he can pick his brain and learn. You know, he's got a great start. Hopefully, he can keep it going and be a great champion like many others have been.
As somebody who's been world number one and a major champion, what advice would you give to somebody who's young, who has that kind of potential for the sport?
It's a different sport. It's hard to give a general advice that hasn't already been heard, right? I mean, believe in yourself and keep working. I would probably tell them, and I don't know how it works on the world of tennis, but you see a lot of people in golf who get to the PGA Tour level and they think they need to change things because someone, or people that they win a major championship and they decide to change things because they think they need it to get better. There's a reason he's gotten to this point. Just keep using that routine and keep getting better. Right, don't need to do a complete 180 flip. Just keep believing in yourself and keep practicing and keep training, and you know, results will come.
And question on Mike 00.
Ok, bueno, español. Entonces, hablando un poco de los preparativos para esta semana, cuéntame un poco y quizá la pregunta es, ¿crees que concentrarse y prepararse bien para los medios hace que ganes torneos por el camino, como ha pasado con México?
Sí, no. Yo creo que hay veces que cuando estás entrenando ciertas partes del juego para ciertos torneos, al final los grandes son los torneos más difíciles del año, ¿no? Normalmente las condiciones y el campo que jugamos es muy complicado. Cuando entrenas de esa manera y luego vas a un campo como el de México, que de tee a green en teoría no es mucho problema, pues sí que te libera un poco, ¿no? Y luego empiezas a jugar, bueno, a pegar buenos golpes y pues te metes en esa situación, ¿no? Que no es que sea más fácil, pero es como que ya estás mentalizado para esa lucha. Puede que ayude. Yo creo que hay más casos de gente que se estresa antes de un grande y justo después del grande empiezan a ganar porque no es la misma presión, pero entiendo lo que dices y en cierta manera sí, pero no de manera así decisiva, ¿no? Que de verdad pienses que voy a hacer esto para grande y que me va a ayudar esta semana también.
¿Y qué ves en este campo? ¿Cuáles pueden ser las claves esta semana?
Todo. Campo largo, campo difícil, no es el más estrecho del mundo, pero son greens pequeños, ¿no? Y si fallas estas calles, el RAF de Bermuda vas a tener poco control. Pocas veces vas a tener la opción de ir a bandera e incluso el ponerla en green va a ser un gran hecho, ¿no? Así que un poco lo visto en años anteriores, es un campo difícil, un campo en el que poca gente suele hacer bajo par, sobre todo por el viento que puede hacer. Así que hay que hacerlo todo bien. Desde el tee hasta el green, juego corto, hierros, todo tiene que estar de manera muy buena, ¿no? Lo que, claro, si algo va a fallar, hay alguna otra parte del juego que tiene que estar de una manera muy, muy, muy elevada. O sea, si vas a fallar greens, tienes que meter putts. Si vas a fallar calles, tienes que hacer approach y putts. Un poco de todo, ¿no? Va a ser una lucha, pero bueno, es un campo que a mí me gusta, que considero que, entre comillas, me viene bien a mí, para mi tipo de golf, sobre todo desde el tee, así que con ganas.
Oye, venimos de un país de zapateros, o sea, que lo que estabas contando un poco de lo que has hecho con tus zapatos y demás, seguro que hay mucha gente que lo entiende. ¿Puedes explicarme un poco qué es lo que has tenido, qué es lo que estás trabajando?
No, a ver, yo al final, con mis pies, tengo un arco bastante grande en el derecho y con los problemas que tengo en el derecho, ¿no? Así que también tiene la diferencia de longitud de la pierna, tengo que usar la plantilla que tiene 1,5 centímetros de alza en la derecha. Eso quiere decir que cuando me pongo un zapato normal, el tobillo está súper arriba, pierdo estabilidad. O sea, para el que no sepa, si ves mis zapatos, el derecho es un poco más alto para eso, para ayudar con el tobillo y un poco cómo se distribuye el peso, ¿no? O sea, desde fuera es igual que el que puede comprar cualquiera, pero es un poquito diferente por dentro para facilitarme a mí ciertas cosas en el swing. De pequeño me acuerdo que llevábamos un zapatero, cortaban una suela, metían ese alce de 1,5 centímetros y pegaban la suela, ¿no? Y ahí, cuando gané el Campeonato de España en la rabia hay fotos, mi pie derecho es así, o sea, se ve el taco ese por el centro, en el medio del zapato, ¿no? Y son cosas que llevo haciendo mucho tiempo, pero que ahora, llegado a este punto, ¿no? Estos expertos pues ayudan y hemos hecho mucha labor en ese sentido. El año pasado, lo he dicho, jugué con un zapato plano con el que podía hacer buen swing, pero sí jugué con ciertos dolores porque no es algo que yo deba hacer. Y este año estoy súper contento.
Oye, y la última te han preguntado por
Okay, so here's a look at what John Rahm has done in his last 5 starts in this major. The PGA Championship, 1 missed cut out of the 5 came at 2019 at Bethpage Black. Good performance in 2018 at Bellerive, and a tie for 8th alongside the likes of Ricky Fowler last year at the Ocean Course. Of course, he won the Mexico Open, which was his first title, would you believe, in some 11 months, his first since he became a major champion at Torrey Pines, winning the US Open. He spoke so eloquently afterwards about how he feels a responsibility to tee it up and to play in Spanish-speaking countries. He did just that in Mexico. He had some wonderful appreciation, some applause. You're one of us, you're one of our own, and he was the highest ranked player in the field and then did deliver with that victory. Are you surprised, Paige, that we haven't seen more of a dominant John Rahm since he did triumph at Torrey Pines last year?
To some extent, yes, because the ball striking is still there. We've seen a drop off, in and around the greens a little bit from John Rahm, and that's something that I felt like was a trademark when he came out. It's one of those where it usually takes a little bit of experience to pick up on the speeds of the greens out here, to pick up on the whole locations where it is just an elevated level of golf, and John Rahm seamlessly moved from amateur golf into the PGA Tour. So a little bit down on that, but the ball striking's been unbelievable.
The putter nota has been the conversation, hasn't it?
It has. You have some high standards, though. He's probably arguably the most consistent player we've had.
Yep.
15 top 10s last year, another 5 this year, and sort of coming into his own. And I think it's wonderful when athletes take on the responsibility, or the opportunity, I should say. It's not certainly a responsibility to go out and to play in places in Spanish-speaking countries, because I think it's wonderful. I mean, for him to go out, and if you watch the broadcast of that particular event, you could hear the fans, yelling out in Spanish, encouraging John to make a putt or hit a great shot, or being excited just to have him down there. So I thought that was a wonderful reflection on the athlete that John Rahm is, and kind of him carrying what he believes is the right way to approach the sport. But he's by far my favorite pick this week. Because he is so strong from tee to green. PGA Tour leader, greens and regulation. I think he understands the nuance of Bermuda grass around the greens. And he just is so darn consistent. And we talked about Rory Mcilroy having trouble getting out of the gates. John Rahm hasn't had that problem. In his last 14 major championship starts, 8 times under par, only 2 over par. You look at Justin Thomas in his last 11 starts, only 2 under par. The rest have been over par. So it's important. Rory talked about it in his presser that if you get behind on, even if it's just a sequence of holes, it's hard to make up that ground. So you really have to rely on a measure of consistency, which favors John Rahm.
Yeah, and he even just said that, yes, it was nice to get the win, but I didn't feel like I needed it for my confidence, to your point about how consistent he has been in general. Here's the question. You know, the Masters is at the same venue every year. The US Open historically is arguably the most challenging of majors. Yes, it have been played at some different locations in this past decade. The Open Championship, of course, is the international major. What do you think is the legacy of the PGA Championship? Or what do you think, legacy is the wrong word, what do you think as a player turning up this week you feel you need to contend in a PGA Championship, perhaps contend to other majors? Is this the kind of major that's most similar to week in, week out on the PGA Tour?
Every single player that's ever played golf is impacted by the PGA of America because of the pros that we learned with. If it wasn't for a PGA of America professional, I would not have had an opportunity to play this game. So this is an important championship for reasons that are different than the other majors that we have, because it embraces the 20 players that work in these facilities that are the glue to the game, so to speak, because they're the ones that are giving lessons, bringing new people into the game, and making sure that golf is this kind of sport that we enjoy, going out to the various public and private venues across the country to play this wonderful game.
I think the course setup has set itself apart from the other majors as well. I think when you compare it to a US Open, there's been some controversy in course setup and how the golf courses have played. I think with the PGA of America and what Kerry Haigh has done, there's been very little controversy, and I think most players walk into a PGA knowing it's going to be a very fair test of golf.
Yeah, that's a great point. Big ballparks and great layouts is what we're typically used to seeing at a PGA Championship. The PGA of America do an incredible job in our game of golf, and it is wonderful to celebrate the top 20 this week, those 20 club professionals that did earn their place in the field, thanks, of course, to their finish in the PGA Professional Championship. Well, this week, Callaway staff has custom staff bags designed with Southern Hills and Tulsa in mind, and you have a chance to take home one of these bags as part of the Callaway Major Staff Bag Giveaway. Enter for a chance to win one of these bags by scanning the QR code you see on the screen right now. This opportunity begins today and ends with the conclusion of the tournament on Sunday. And Tiger Woods has arrived on property here at Southern Hills, as Rex Hoggard reported this morning. Not expected to play a practice round today. It is scheduled, though, to speak with the media at noon local time. That will be 1 p.m. Eastern.
Shooting for. Celebrating the next generation of women leaders. KPMG, proud sponsor of the KPMG Women's PGA Championship.
Another crazy day? Of course it is. You're a CIO in 2022. So what's on the agenda?
Just have a look at that and see how.
Morning security briefing. Make that 2. Share that link. Send that contract. See what's trending. Check the traffic on your network in real time with the next generation in global secure networking from Comcast Business. Lunch?
Sure.
You got time. Onboard 37 new people with 74 new devices.
Does anybody have any questions?
And just as many questions. Shut down a storm of DDoS attacks. Protect headquarters and the cloud with all your data on the nation's largest IP network. Whoa. That is big. Okay, coffee time, double shot. Deal with a potential breach. Deal with your calendar. Deal with your fantasy lineup. And then, that's it? We feeling good? Looks like we're feeling good. Bring on today with unbeatable business solutions from the most innovative company, Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Tee it up in Skechers' new Arch Fit golf shoes. Skechers teamed up with podiatrists to create a shoe with podiatrist-certified arch support that reduces pressure, distributes weight, and provides all-day comfort on the course. Try Skechers Arch Fit with podiatrist-certified arch support.
At Empower, we believe in opening doors. Let us help move you towards financial freedom in all of life's moments. We've been helping over 17 million customers create the future they want, and we're ready to open some doors for you.
At ADP, we understand business today looks nothing like it did yesterday. While it's more unpredictable, its possibilities are endless. From paying your people from anywhere to supporting your talent everywhere. We use data-driven insights to design HR solutions and services to help businesses of all sizes work smarter today so they can have more success tomorrow.
So here is Tiger Woods on the grounds at Southern Hills Country Club today. He arrived on Sunday. He's played 9 holes Sunday, 9 holes on Monday. He has seen the full 18 holes and noted to Rory Mcilroy's point, how many times does he need to see the holes here to refamiliarize himself, given the fact that he did make that scouting trip in April, played with Kerry Crosby alongside him to guide him, of course, through the layout from a local mind here in Tulsa.
Yeah, once to familiarize yourself with it, and then one more time to just kind of reaffirm, anything new or try and establish some clear strategies on what you want to do.
What was your honest takeaway of his performance at Augusta, and what did you honestly believe when he finished that week in terms of when we may have seen him next?
I was utterly impressed. I mean, utterly impressed in knowing what he had to overcome. The fact that, it was probably better that it was his right leg and not his left, because I think that it provided him an opportunity to work his way out of some of the physical challenges. And the fact that he proved to himself that he could do it and sustain 72 holes, albeit lost some steam at the end, gave him, I think, some belief that, he might be able to attain championship level golf again.
Which would be just outstanding. Paige, you mentioned how the 2001 US Open was obviously prior to his experience here in 2007, winning the PGA Championship. He did actually also play here at Southern Hills in the Tour Championship all the way back in 1996. He was kind of just starting out there, as we know. He'd won 2 of his first 7 PGA Tour starts as a professional, ultimately finished 21st out of the 30-man field that week, having struggled with the second round.